Hi everyone and welcome to the Talk is Cheap show. Talk is Cheap is a show that looks at matters in the world of football, topical matters in the world of football, relating mainly to Arsenal, although not exclusively so. But before we get into it, let me introduce my co-D, the big homie, Big C. What are you saying, man?
Oh, good.
Good?
Yeah.
Everything well with you?
Yeah, been good, man. Been just working on the channel, Curtis Shaw TV, putting out loads of videos. There's a lot to talk about. And I just want to say, big up my son as well, Cruz. He scored against Man City last week, so
excellent.
It's a good thing. Something
like
to smile about.
Son,
yeah, hopefully.
We've got a great show lined up for you this week, but before we delve into the main part of the show, just want to say big respect and thank you to all of you sending in your messages of support, your constructive criticisms. We appreciate that. Keep it coming, because obviously we want to make the show as interactive as we possibly can. Also, we just want to look at two subjects we spoke about last week. We got some poll results regarding the Jose Mourinho's appointment as Tottenham manager, and whether you felt, as myself and Curtis had, that Daniel Levy and Tottenham had outmanoeuvred Arsenal. 65% of you agreed with us. You said that you thought that Daniel Levy had indeed outmanoeuvred Arsenal with regards to the Jose appointment. Regarding the second main topic we spoke about, which was the England, can they win the Euros in 2020? 40% of you said that you thought England could win the Euro 2024. Had quite a few people actually messaging me saying that we'd left Portugal out of our original contenders, and that's probably true actually, because Portugal are a good team, and of course they've got a certain CR7.
Yeah, exactly.
So that could well come into the equation. And before we end this segment of the show, me being a big boxing fan, I just want to big up John Ryder, who fought for the world super middleweight title at the weekend against Callum Smith, and he put forth a very good performance. He was on the wrong end of a decision, but a lot of people like myself thought he should have won that fight. And the reason why I mention it is John Ryder's from Islington. I've met John, and I know he's a big Arsenal fan, so enough respect to him. Moving on then, we're looking at the first part of the show is looking at Arsenal's last game since the last show.
Yeah.
Wow, what can I say, man? Arsenal at home to Southampton, described hitherto as a must-win game. And it didn't quite work out that way, did it? So Curtis, take it away, man. What did you think?
I mean, it seemed like the game we couldn't lose, and we didn't lose, but a draw was sort of like a loss, wasn't it, in the end? I don't think anyone came out of that game happy with the point. We were both in the ground, and when we equalised, to be honest, I didn't even celebrate.
Wow.
I just thought, point, I'm not going to celebrate that.
No, you mean the second goal?
Yeah, the second goal, the equaliser, Lacazette. I just thought, I mean, how Emery could set up against Southampton, second bottom in the table, third lowest scorers, worst defence, and we turned up with 5 defenders.
Yeah.
And still
It's funny because on my way to the game, because I kind of got there a bit late.
Yeah.
So by the time I got there, the team had already been announced. Yeah. And I got a friend who works for AFTV actually. And he texted me and he said, Laurie, before the game, I was predicting 3-0 to Arsenal like you had done on your show last week. But having seen the lineup, he said, I'm going for a narrow 2-1 win. And that alerted me to the fact that when I saw the team and the formation, 5 at the back, against Southampton at home, I immediately started to have misgivings. So. Yeah. What could I say, man? It was an abysmal performance, wasn't it, really, innit? I mean, and we were fortunate to get a point. Had it not have been for the profligacy of the Southampton strikers, they would well have beaten us that day.
And I mean, I think the bigger issue now is I think everyone in the fan base knows that Emery's not the right manager for the club. You will hardly find anyone apart from maybe Ty who believes that Emery should still be here. But the bigger question is, why are the board keeping him? What's the problem?
Well, that's something we're going to touch on a bit later on. But in terms of the actual game, I mean, look at this damning stat here that I've got here. Southampton, 21 shots on goal compared to our 12. Which means they nearly had double the amount of shots.
Away from home as well.
And we're talking about a team that is second from bottom.
Who lost 9-0.
Who had lost, a few games before that, had lost 9-0 at home to Leicester. And and then they'd been beaten subsequently in their next 2 games.
Yeah.
And then they come to Emirates, and
dominate.
not only did they get a point, they actually outplayed us,
Yeah.
and were unlucky not to lose. So, damning.
It seems like everything Emery tries just doesn't work at the moment. And there's just, you saw Lacazette at the end of the game apparently had crosswords with Emery. You could see the frustration spilling over. And I think the fans were, like I think you said the other day, the fans were quite fair to Emery in that game. They weren't, but I know after the game they booed, but during the game when Southampton scored, they were still trying to get behind the team and just didn't get enough out of them.
Because I remember, I think I'd said to you on last week's show, I said, and I felt this honestly, I said to you that if it goes 10, 15 minutes into that game and we haven't scored, I could see the fans turning. And that was just based on my previous experiences of going to games and sort of seeing the toxicity develop over the last few weeks. I was convinced that the fans were going to turn. But you know what? To give the fans credit, big up the fans, because after 8 minutes, Southampton had scored.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and I kind of looked to my left and right, and I was expecting people's howls of derision, people to start throwing things all over the place. There was actually a chance of come on Arsenal, come on Arsenal. I thought, right, you know what?
I think the fans have kind of, as sad as it is, they've kind of adjusted to it. Like, oh, we're 1-0 down, we're used to it.
Here we go again.
It's going to be another long day. But no, it was a terrible game. When you look at Chelsea dropping points, that was an opportunity to close the gap. And, I keep seeing all these things like, oh, we've got a winnable run of games, but we've just come out of a winnable run of games.
Yeah.
And you look at them December fixtures: Man City, Chelsea, Man United.
Well, the Southampton game was a crucial game for Emery insofar as that was the first of 2 or 3 games. I mean, Norwich and Brighton and then West Ham, all supposedly very winnable games. Yeah. So we was hoping that this put in a very good performance against Southampton. You can kind of get some momentum going, some confidence going. But the reverse was the case.
Yeah.
So.
And we did say that actually, that as much as it looks an easy game, there'll be even more pressure to win it because everyone expects us to win that comfortably. So. But as I said in my interview, I think the players have to take some responsibility.
I was going to finish off with that. Is it a case now that we've also got to look at the players because this run of performances is just not acceptable?
No.
Really.
I mean, I know people will say, we get a new manager, the players will change, but you should have your own personal pride in your performance. David Luiz turning his back on the ball with Callum Chambers, that's not Unai Emery saying to do that. When Pepe's one-on-one with a goalkeeper and doesn't shoot and he passes, that's not Unai Emery saying that. So the players have to look at themselves as well.
Interesting. Do you think the players are playing for him?
No, not at all. Not one bit are they playing for him. There seems to be no connection between the players and the manager.
No.
Or the fans and the manager either. So, no, it's not a good time.
So there you have it. That was our brief roundup of last week's game, which, it was pretty poor, man, I've got to say. So, but there you go. Let us know what you think. So for our main topic of this week's show, we're going to look at the current state of Arsenal, what's going on, and what you think should happen going forward. So at the time of filming, Unai Emery remains in his job, something which is baffling to most of us, if not all of us. Because let's be honest, guys, Emery's pretty much a dead man walking. I had initially been in favour at the start of the season of Emery getting the whole season to do the job. I'd scaled that back to January based on results. But even me, now, I'm saying, look, man, enough is enough.
The time is now,
The time is ready for him to go. So before I go into saying any more, I want to hear what Curtis said, because I know you're a long-time advocate of him being dismissed. So I know you'd lost complete faith in him a long time ago. So break it down to us.
I mean, for me, the thing that's always been why I've been against him, particularly from the end of last season, was I can't see what he's trying to achieve. Sometimes as a manager, things take time and it doesn't always work. But when you can see the vision as a fan, you can stick by it, and think, well, they're playing a certain way. When he gets certain players, it'll work. The club backed him in the summer. They spent money, and we actually looked worse than we did last season. And apart from maybe Aubameyang scoring goals, Guendouzi's been all right, Leno's been all right. Who's actually playing well in this team at the moment? I can't think of many players.
That's a good point.
When you look at the players we signed in the summer, Pepe, Tierney, Luiz, Ceballos, out of those players, who's been a major success really? I mean, they haven't settled in great. Luiz is, I mean, we both like David Luiz, but he's become part of a mess, if you like, in defence. Ceballos, I had that one game, everyone got a little bit carried away. Pepe, I mean, I don't know what he's doing with him. He's just...
Yeah, it's a very interesting
He's put his confidence on the floor, hasn't he, Emery? The way he's handling him is just totally...
There seems to be no shining lights, isn't
No.
there? There isn't like one particular player that you can look at and say that under Emery, this place, a person has really developed, he's really come on, you're really excited. But there's been fleeting moments, isn't there? So Ceballos at the start of the season, Martinelli.
Yeah, he's been quite good.
You know, but you're struggling really, aren't you?
And like you said, you wrote a list of pros and cons, and he was running out of paper on the cons list.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was trying to be fair to Emery, man, because, you know, we try to be fair to people on this show. So, in preparation for the show, I was drawing up a list of pros and cons, and honestly, the cons were way outnumbering the pros. I mean, let's just have a look at some of them, man. I mean, let's start from the top. This guy, I know people have said it about me in the comments, but hey, he lacks personality and charisma. Big star, doesn't he? I mean, have you ever sat through a Emery press conference?
No.
And if you have, probably like me, you come away scratching your head thinking, what did he really say? What was he really trying to, what message was he really trying to convey?
Across,
And listen, I get it. He's English is not his first language, so you got to take that into the equation. However, he just doesn't come across as a man that truly believes in what he's saying. Yeah. And I don't think I'm doing a disservice by saying that, because everyone I've spoken to seems to say the same thing, you know? Yeah. He lacks leadership quality, man. The way he's handled certain situations, his man management. And there's a few examples in there, the Ozil thing, the Xhaka incidents, you know? The way he handled that captaincy situation. Yeah. Even since then, the way he's spoken about the club and his assessment of games have not been honest. You just think to yourself, you know, his tactical nous is not really there, man. Is it? Let's be honest.
He worries too much about the opposition as well.
He sets up too defensively. He doesn't go on the front foot. And that's borne out. We're not just saying these people. No. Go and look at the stats. We are getting outshot in every game against teams that, no disrespect to them, but they shouldn't be doing that to Arsenal, especially at home. You know, I spoke a few weeks ago, didn't I, about the way Chris Wilder totally handled him, man, tactically.
Totally. Even Hodgson, you know.
All of these guys, man.
Nuno, they're all
Chris Wilder, Ralph Hasenhüttl.
These guys are coming from the Championship.
The list is endless. These guys are making him look small time. You know, he's playing players out of the position. Yeah. The formations are too rigid. The playing out. I mean, listen, man. If you dispute what we're saying, look at last week, Socrates.
Oh, playing out from the back.
Playing out from the back. Yeah. How many times did he get caught in possession? Yeah. Or put under severe pressure, playing the ball back across the goal, nearly getting intercepted and scored? I mean, it gets to the point where you can't really blame Socrates. He's clearly not that individual. He's got a lot of qualities, but playing out from the back like that is not one of them. And if you've got a manager that's insisting that you do something even though you're not capable of doing it, at some point you've got to look at the manager, the person that's asking you to do that, and say, look, are you really getting the best out of that guy? Yeah. So, wrong substitutions at wrong times.
Constantly doing that, innit?
You know, how many times have we looked on the bench and said, come on, make some changes?
Bringing on Martinelli for 10 minutes and things like that. It's just too
Bringing
late.
on, taking Lacazette all the way to Europe.
And not using
him until the last 10, 15 minutes.
I just don't think... I don't think Emery's a bad manager.
No.
You know, you don't become a bad manager in one job, but I just think this league is very unforgiving. It's very different to any other league in the world.
I've said it many times before, man. This Premier League, some may dispute the quality, but one thing you can't dispute is shark-infested waters.
This is the only league where
if you're not a shark,
you get bitten.
You're gonna get not just bitten, you're gonna get devoured.
Yeah, and that's
I think that's what happened to him.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm just gonna keep it a buck.
Yeah.
Keep it real, man. This man is a capable manager. I'm sure his record suggests that he's won things in Spain.
Yeah.
He's won the Europa League titles. That's good, but I think he's been found out.
Yeah, I do. 100%.
The Arsenal job is too big for him.
Yeah, and this league, he hasn't adjusted to it. And I don't think he knows what it takes to fix it. He's tried everything. He's trying too much, in fact.
Yeah. I mean, listen, man, the guy seems like an all right guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he looks
got passionate.
Time for that.
He looks like he looks like one of those guys that he lives, breathes, sleeps, eats football. You know what I mean? He looks like he's a very intense individual in the way how he thinks. But unfortunately, it's just not happened for him at Arsenal.
No.
And when it's not happening, how much longer do you give him?
He's gone beyond his sell-by date. He should have been gone already, and that's the bigger question.
Yeah, I mean that's a subject we're going to come on to now.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, guys, if you think we're being unfair, let me ask you this question. Yeah, after the game on Saturday, how many of you really expected him to be still in his job by the Monday? I thought he would have cleared his desk that night.
I thought he was gone. I mean, we heard a few things. We thought he was gone.
I thought he was gone, bro.
I thought he was gone, you know, and you hear all these things. He's flown back to Spain. The Kroenkes have flown in. And
the man's position at the club is untenable. I'm actually feeling a bit sorry for him because I'm thinking we need to take this man out of his misery. We need to salvage the rest of this man's career because the longer he stays like this and it carries on like this, the worse it's going to be for him to get gainful employment at another big club.
We need to salvage our own football club.
Well, that's true, but I'm thinking of the man. I know what you mean. I don't want to be like going in on him per se because it's not just his fault.
I mean, I think we're being fair to the guy, to be honest. You know, we're not personally.
I'm trying not to be too harsh on him.
We're not giving it. There's no personal attack.
We're trying. Let me make it clear. We're not trying to kick a man when he's down. No. We're just keeping it real and talking it as it is. Yeah. It's just not worked out. Like I said, initially I was one of those that wanted to give him the full year, even though it ended the last season in such a wretched fashion. Yeah. So I was prepared to say, look, you know what, wipe the slate clean. Yeah. But it's soon, you know, the warning signs were there very early on in the season. Yeah. And I know you had said some weeks ago that you'd lost faith in it.
Yeah, completely.
So, you know, that's my feeling, man. I think I've been fair to him, but I'm not seeing any green shoots of recovery. No. And I think we've got to the stage now where a change has to be made, first and foremost for the club, but being reasonable to Emery, I think he needs to be taken from
the situation. Yeah.
You know.
Let's see what they do.
Let's see what they do, man. But hey, it's looking wretched right now.
Yeah.
Which brings us on now to the other subject matter we were going to talk about is the way the Arsenal board are currently handling this. And I said to you, didn't I, Curtis, before we came in, we were talking about what we were going to talk about on the show today, and I said, does this look now like we are descending into mediocrity? Are we just on that slippery slope?
Do you know what I think?
We used to be regarded as a big club, but the way things are transpiring at the moment.
Yeah. The thing is, in football, the way it is nowadays, nobody really cares about what you did in the past. That only holds you in good stead for so long. We can't keep talking about the Invincibles and all that. Players are interested in what are you doing now? What can you offer me now? And I don't see a lot in Arsenal at the moment that can say Arsenal are a big football club. I mean, we might have a big fan base, a big stadium, big revenue, but we haven't got a great team. We haven't got a great manager. Our board are absolute bottle jobs, in my opinion. Honestly, because I think, they've been getting away with it for a while. I think Wenger was taking contracts to protect them, although he knew what he was doing and getting out of it. And then now Emery, and they're just in the background. They're not saying anything. They haven't come out and said, you know, we're going to turn this around. Or there's no decisiveness. There's no ambition. They're milking this club, in my opinion. And it's the fans that are suffering because, You know, we're going to every game, we're buying the merchandise, you know, the Adidas deal came out, we was all excited, new kits, new players, but nothing's changed, and in fact it's getting worse. And as I said the other week, I don't believe if Emery was at any other club in the top 6, he would still be employed. I think every other top 6 club would have sacked him.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, you know I'm a fan of my receipts. So let's pull up some receipts this season, man. We're currently 8th. Played 13, won 4, lost 3, drawn 6. We've got 18 points. Just 2 clean sheets. We've been outshot, like I said, 162 to 218. That's significant, man.
Yeah.
That is significant.
And when you look at the opposition as well, that are doing that.
Do you realise, people, we've actually got a negative goal difference of 1. So we've scored 18 whilst we've conceded 19.
Yeah.
We're just 8 points above relegation. I mean, need I go on, man? I mean, this is just not good enough.
It's not. It's really not.
We've regressed under Emery.
100%.
There was an interesting stat that's been going around. I'm sure some of you might have seen it, where they're comparing Wenger's last 50 games, which is a period whereby a lot of the fans wanted him out of the club, including me, compared to Emery's first 50 games. So Wenger's last 50 to Emery's first 50. And do you know, people, that Wenger in those games has got more wins than Emery did? 27 to Emery's 25.
And that was arguably Wenger's worst period.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why the comparison is logical, because you're comparing his worst with Emery's.
And Emery's had financial backing as well.
Yes, so, you can't complain, he hasn't got it.
But like I say,
And even that, you've got a £73 million asset that the whole of the Premier League were purring over when he arrived, Nicolas Pepe, and now he can't even, he's on the bench.
You're not even starting him, for one. You're not even giving him a chance to find his form, because I've got no doubt at the start of the season that chance that Pepe had on Saturday would have took a shot. He would have shot that. He passed that.
That was confidence.
He didn't want to miss. He thought, if I miss,
you can literally see he was caught in two minds. I was behind the goal when he had that chance, right? And you could see Pepe was thinking, shall I shoot? And then I think he saw Aubameyang or Lacazette to his right, and he tried to square it, and the chance was gone. The crowd had grown. Can you imagine what that does to your confidence? Although, to be fair to him, a few minutes after that, he had the scissor kick, didn't he?
That was unlucky.
And that shows me that Pepe is not hiding.
No,
it's a confidence issue. And confidence, for any of you that have played team games, is vital. Actually, it's not just team games, all sports. But and in team games especially, though, it's imbued by the manager. The manager gives you the confidence to go out and play.
And the thing, what's worse, Pepe clearly is lacking confidence, but what you want is to feel the belief of your manager that I'm going to keep picking you. I know you're a good player, it's going to work. Putting this guy on the bench is not going to improve anything. It's going to make him question, should I have even come to this club?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I just think, for the long-term future of Arsenal, they have to get rid of Emery as soon as possible, because you've seen the stories coming out, Lacazette and Aubameyang saying, you know, we're not going to negotiate a contract while this guy's in charge.
Yeah,
they
I would
need
imagine
to play
the
Champions
mood
League.
around the club and the players at the moment is quite toxic. But to bring it back round, we were talking about the board, so we both agree that the board are failing the fans in the way they've handled this.
I genuinely think the fan base, the Arsenal fan base, are very big and powerful, but they're not often together in their opinions. I think the fans have to come together and force this board out of the club. Now, that's not an easy thing to do. That's not an easy thing to do, but I can't see how this club...
suggesting fly a few planes?
Well, maybe a couple of planes, a few banners. That's it, you know what I mean? Get some games abandoned. I don't know, but I don't know, but
if we're being honest, that's not really going to happen, is it?
Well, I've seen it happen at other clubs before. I remember when Dortmund, I think, did they all throw tennis balls on the pitch and stuff?
But I don't think, to be fair, our fans are that radical.
Well, I don't know, but I think the board are holding the club back. I think even if we get a new manager, it will fix something, but it doesn't fix the overall problem.
But we're hearing, though, if rumours are to be believed, that there's some unrest amongst board members, aren't they, with regards to Emery? Because what I'm hearing, and I've heard it a few times actually from people in the press, not going to reveal my sources, but so for example, we know that Chips Keswick, he's gone.
The chairman. Well, and I think has he gone already, or is he on the verge of going?
Yeah, he's either going or gone. And I'm also hearing that the board is split, so there's a faction that want Emery out, and then there's one or two I think it could be Sanelli is
Who
the
still
main
wants to keep
Well, yeah, who still wants to keep it or be seen to be giving him
more
another
time,
chance.
yeah.
And I just don't know where they're going with that one, man. I think you said it a little while ago. You said we're not moving like a big club.
No, we're
and I think
not.
that sums it up accurately.
And yet Sanelli was meant to be known for being ruthless at Barcelona. As soon as managers fell, they're sacked. But he's come to Arsenal. It makes you question how much power does he actually have, or is he just a puppet to Kroenke?
But the thing I don't get is that, okay, you can call yourself a strong man and so forth like that, but certainly an element of being a strong individual is to recognise when you've made a mistake and try and correct it.
Yeah.
You don't just lurch from one bad situation to another. If you've identified that there's a problem, you need to address it.
Yeah.
It was like me, like I said, initially I wanted to give Emery a chance. I wanted to be seen to be fair. But over the last few weeks, I've had the growing realisation that it's just not happening.
I was laughing actually when we came out the ground, because the first thing you said was, I want him gone now. And I said, all these weeks you've been saying, give him till January, but you've seen
Listen, I'm going to tell you guys a true story now, right? And I've said this to you. I remember vividly, we're losing 2-1 to Southampton, and the mood of the crowd is just, everyone was just totally sunken and withdrawn and thinking, oh no, what's happening there? And I happened to look up at the clock, and I think it was like 81 minutes on the clock. And I turned to my left, and there's a guy that I get on with quite well at the game, and I said to him, I said, look, you know what? This man's got 10 minutes to save his job. And the guy looked at me and he went, you know what, bro? He said, if it means he goes tonight, I'll take losing. And that kind of summed up. And listen, I'm not advocating that I want to see Arsenal lose. So before any of you start that little AFTV hating stuff, I'm telling you, this was a guy, he's not, as far as I know, an AFTV fan or even a watcher, but he said to me, he said, look, if I would take losing if it means that this manager goes. So when you've reached that point,
it's breaking point.
That is, you know what I mean? It's done.
Do you know what I wanted to ask you?
He's done out here, man.
Who would you replace him with?
Well, that's what I was going to come on to, because I know that you're on the record, and I give you credit for this. You said, he needs to go, he's not good enough, and then you quite firm, you're an advocate of Jose Mourinho. We spoke about that last week, so I'm not going to go back there. We didn't get Mourinho, but let's be honest, man, Emery's a dead man walking. It's not a matter of if, it's when.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm going to put the ball in your court. Today, we're hearing rumours about Nuno Espirito Santo, where there's the ongoing thing with Allegri.
Yeah.
There's talk also about Arteta. There's talks about giving it to Ljungberg until the end of the season. If you're on that board, you're the senior member on that board, and they say, Curtis,
who are you appointing?
We've all been talking, you got the casting vote, who would you want? Tell me out of all those guys, or anyone else out there that you could do. Realistic, I mean, let's keep it real. Let's not debate guys that we know we're not going to get.
Yeah.
But realistic, because, you know, obviously, after last weekend, a lot of people was on this let's get Poch thing. And I said to a lot of people, I goes, look, that's an interesting call, but if we're being realistic, that's not going to happen.
He's not coming.
Certainly not now, anyway. But we need action now, so you tell me realistically, out of those names that I've thrown out there, or anyone you can think of, who would you like to see?
I mean, it's almost like a process of elimination. I don't want nothing to do with Arteta. I've been calling him
Tell us why.
Pep's water boy, I call him.
That's a bit unkind to
it is a
former
bit
Arsenal
unkind,
captain.
I'm only joking, but no, I don't want a guy who's never managed to come in at this stage. If the circumstances were different and the garden was a bit rosier, if you like, maybe give him a chance, but not in this situation.
Because I remember you said something that stuck in my mind a few weeks ago, and you said when you appoint managers, you have to look at the circumstances in which they're appointed, and I think that's a very good point, people. So we are in a bad place right now. Let's not make no mistake.
Yeah.
So appointing a guy that's never managed,
it's risky,
at anywhere near this level, is very risky. So I hear you on that.
And Freddie the same. I wouldn't give it to Freddie either.
Why?
Again, no
Just for that
managerial.
reason.
Yeah, same thing. So you're sort of then looking.
He's got a slight advantage over Arteta,
That
though,
he
in that
works
he's
in
in
the
the club
club.
now.
Yeah.
He's familiar with the players. Do you not think he could do like a caretaker role?
Maybe if they felt like they couldn't get the manager they wanted now, you could maybe keep
Make a
Freddie
case
till
for
the
him.
summer. So you're then looking at Nuno and Allegri. I mean, it doesn't seem like Allegri, for whatever reason, is really desperate to take this job. He said he wanted a year out.
Yeah,
The mumblings are that he doesn't really want to take a job mid-season, they're saying. But
I think Allegri's in that Poch position, isn't he?
He's waiting,
sabbatical,
isn't he? Yeah.
and he's going to wait it out. And let's be honest, when you're in high demand, not just in football, in any sphere of life, you can pretty much choose where you want to go next.
Yeah.
So there's rumours that he's heavily linked towards Man United, and Man United are looking at him. So if you're Allegri, and not only that, he said he wants to learn the language before he takes on the job. You might want to wait it out for a few months, and then you're gonna have a few offers that you can. Yeah, so
that leaves us with Nuno, who I'll be honest,
he's emerged today.
He's emerged
as the big favourite.
I mean, Robbie was trying to convince us both why he would take him. And one thing I will give Nuno credit for, he's got Wolves playing good football. He seems to have a connection with the fans and the players. And the last few times
forget about the
played
football.
them.
He's the first and foremost, because I think this is big.
Go on, yeah.
You've got to have the character to handle the players and to handle being at a club. No disrespect to Wolves, man, because I like the football. Yeah. I like the whole thing you guys are doing, but I think even you guys at Wolves would agree that the Arsenal job is a step
bigger
up.
level, yeah. The pressure is
the
much
pressure,
bigger.
The level of scrutiny is different to Wolves. Let's just say that. I'm not dissing Wolves.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just keeping it real. So, do you think the man has what it takes to handle that? Or looks at it? Because you'll never know until he gets
You don't know. He seems to have a lot of personality about him.
He does, yeah.
What was underwhelming me was I just felt like, has he done much before to say, you're getting the Arsenal job? Oh, okay, you've done a good job.
But then
at
did
Wolves.
Arsene Wenger have that?
No, but that was a totally different time, wasn't it? And I'm not being. Wenger walked into a team with people like Tony Adams in and people like that, so he had a lot to work with.
But then, having said that, Nuno has been operating at the Premier League and done very well.
Yeah.
Since he's come, so he's aware of.
He knows the league.
It's not totally new to him.
It's not totally new. I mean, if he gets the job, I'll back him. I can't see many better options. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't think Rodgers would come. I think Ancelotti, he's at Napoli.
I must admit, I was definitely of the view that Rafa could come in and do an interim job. But the more I think about that now, I think maybe that ship sailed as well. So
the thing is,
if it come down to the likes between Rafa and Nuno, I think I'd have to go with Nuno.
I'll go Nuno. The thing I would say, do you think Rodgers is completely out of the question? I know Leicester are doing well, but you telling me if we went in with a big contract and said, look, sort it out this season, next year, big money to spend, you telling me you wouldn't leave Leicester to go to Arsenal?
Yeah, you make a good point, but the only two things on that is depends what he does with Leicester this season. If he gets them to the top four, he might be inclined to say, I want to finish the project and see how we do in the Champions League. And we need someone now, really, don't we? Let's be honest. So
I think at the moment, I reckon they'll go for either Lundberg as the easy option, or I think they'll maybe get Nuno in. I could see them going down that road.
Interesting. So there you have it, people. We spoke a lot there about the current manager and his failings and the fact that we feel he needs to go, as I'm sure the vast majority of Arsenal fans think. And not just, let's face it, it's not just the fans, is it? I haven't heard any ex-players or Arsenal players come out and ride for this guy.
No.
None of the pundits that I've heard anyway have said that he deserves to stay. It's pretty much a done deal, man. We need to take this man out of his misery and we need to move on. But hey, let us know what you think, man. Do you think that the board are, if not as much to blame, but deserve a lot of criticism for the way they're handling this? I mean, should he have gone already? Yes. Why has no announcement been made? Why hasn't someone been appointed? Let us know what you feel. Let us know who you would like to see come in, a realistic proposition. We're hearing today that Nuno is emerging as the new favourite to take over at the club. Are you in favour of that? Do you think it's too soon for him? Do you welcome a new man, new ideas, a new impetus? Let us know, people. Let us know what you think. We're going to run a poll on it for next week. Thank you very much. Right, for our next regular segment on the show, Ops of the Week. 2 games coming up in quick succession. The first game is on the Thursday.
Yeah.
Europa League. Yeah.
Thursday night special.
Eintracht Frankfurt, the Thursday night special. Going to be a packed house, I'm sure. What are you saying, Curtis?
Yeah. I'm not going anywhere near that game, first of all. I'm not interested in that game.
Wow.
I might watch it on the TV. I think the stadium will be half empty. But I do expect us to win.
I think it's fair to say it will not be sold out.
No, it won't. But I expect us to win. The younger team are hungry, and I think they'll beat them.
Well, Frankfurt are third in the group,
yeah, and we beat them away, didn't we?
Yeah,
so I'd like to think we'll win.
What scoreline do you think?
I'll go 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0. Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah. So if he wins that,
he'll get the Norwich
execution.
Game. Yeah, they'll keep him, won't they?
So, moving on then to the Sunday.
Yeah. Oh.
That's a massive game for him, man. I mean, and mind you, we keep saying this every week.
Yeah, if he don't win, he'll be gone.
But if he doesn't win, surely even he would forfeit his payoff and just go.
I don't think he will. The $6 million check
there. I mean, come on. But the thing is, you know what? I could see this being a very difficult game.
100%.
Norwich at home, they're going to be mega up for it.
Yeah.
They're coming off a really good win last week. They went away to Everton and beat them.
And they beat Man City
and they beat them comfortably, apparently.
Yeah.
They beat Man City at home.
Yeah.
And we go there, confidence,
poor away form.
The manager under all sorts.
There has to be a game, surely, where we actually turn up and play well. like our team with that much quality, can they keep turning up and playing that bad? But let's be honest, I don't think many fans are confident that we're going to turn up. So
I don't like to seem to be going against a team. But maybe if I say we're going to draw, so we might win. Because I keep saying 2-0, 3-0, this, nil, that, nil.
The opposite.
And I get my predictions fall flat on their face. What do I think and what I would like to see happens are 2 different things. So what do I think? I think it'd probably be a 1-1 with us hanging on. What do I want to see is us go there, go on the front foot, say it with our chests, and get a 2-1 victory.
Yeah, I'll go for a 2-1 victory, but I'm not sure. I'm just trying. I'm more in hope than expectation.
I think that pretty much sums up the whole show.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've got to conclude the show now, guys. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. It only leaves for me to say, Big C.
Yep.
Thanks, bro. Respect. Yep. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, Curtis Shaw TV. Check it out. Channel's growing nicely, man. Thanks for your support.
It is, man. Make sure you check out that dude's show. It's got some proper content on there. Yeah. So thanks very much. Thanks for watching. Like I said earlier in the show, let us know what you think about what we said about the current situation with regards to Arsenal, the manager, the board, who you want to see come in. Keep those messages coming in. Keep those texts, the tweets, everything. We really like the engagement. We want to keep the show as interactive as possible. See you next week. We're out.